My name is Geeta. I'm with Warrior in the Kitchen, and welcome to my Facebook Live. Don't forget to share this Facebook Live on your newsfeed in Facebook so that more people can join. You can also create a watch party, and that way you can have some of your friends join your own little watch party while you're watching me cook, and you guys can talk amongst yourselves. So welcome to everybody that's joining. Again, I'm Geeta with Warrior in the Kitchen, and we will be making some spinach ricotta stuffed shells. I'm excited to share with you the recipe. Also, don't forget to share this live on your Facebook feed so more people can join us and watch. And cheers to all of those that are joining me for the happy hour. Today, instead of the wine, I am choosing to drink some tea. This is a fennel tea. You can see that I'm in my cozy sweatshirt, and I have my cozy little pants on, and I have my cozy socks on with some bunny ears. It's just that kind of a day. I was hoping to share a nice sunny Arizona day with you guys, but it's a little cloudy, a little windy, the sun's not there, and so I thought this was just a nice feel-good drink for me. So, hey everybody, welcome for joining again. I'm Geeta with Warrior in the Kitchen. Welcome to my Facebook Live. Don't forget to share. Please feel free. Hey Alexis, please feel free to comment, ask any questions, send me some smiley faces, and don't be shy. That way we can definitely answer any questions that you might have. So cheers to whatever you guys are drinking today. I'm drinking a fennel hot tea. It's just making me feel good on this cloudy Arizona day. And hi, Alexis' sister. Hi, Carrie. So definitely feel free to bring your ingredients to the table. Feel free to cook with me. I'll share what the ingredients are that I'm using. And also, if you just want to watch, that's great also. I feel like in this day where maybe we're getting a little bit of cabin fever or just getting a little antsy, this is a good 45 minutes to just step away from it all and just kind of relax and either make your dinner with me or just unwind. So again, we'll be making spinach ricotta stuffed shells. And for the stuffed shells, we'll be using some ricotta shell or some shells pasta. We will be using some ricotta cheese and some spinach, and we'll season that with some garlic, some salt, maybe some crushed red pepper if you like. Hi, Dara, and welcome to Facebook Live. So, and then we'll top it with some sauce, with some mozzarella cheese, and we'll bake it. And if we have time, I'd like this to go for about 45 minutes or so. But if we have time, I do want to show you this delicious, yummy eggplant lasagna that's actually vegan. So hopefully we get to that. If not, at least I'll explain with all the ingredients that we have. So please feel free to introduce yourself. Grab whatever your drink of choice is. Mine is a fennel tea today. And just to take in the cloudy Arizona day. I'm excited to share my happy place with you at a time where maybe you're getting a little antsy, a little, I just need to unwind from the kids or whatever the situation is. So let us get started. Basically, with the stuffed ricotta, the spinach ricotta stuffed shells, there are 4 steps. So the first step would be to cook your shells, which I have already done just for the sake of time. So if you plan on making these with me, hopefully you've already done this. But what I did was I boiled a pot of water and I added some salt, some olive oil, and welcome everybody who's joining. Some salt, some olive oil, let the water boil, and then I threw the shells in there and basically cooked it like you cook shells. I drained them and I put them back in the pot, and then I drizzled some olive oil on them just so they wouldn't stick together. Sometimes you'll find a couple of shells that are sort of like hidden inside of each other. So you want to pull them apart gently. And it's just easier to do if there is some olive oil drizzled on top of that. So we will save the shells off to the side. And also, so the first step is let's cook the shells, let's drain them, let's set them to the side. The second step is that we're actually going to cook the spinach, and then we're going to add the ricotta cheese, and we're going to add the seasoning, and we'll set that to the side. The third step will be to take a pan that's oven safe, and we'll go ahead and layer that with some pasta sauce. We'll actually stuff the shells with the ricotta and the spinach stuffing. We'll place them back. We'll layer it. We'll cover it up with some mozzarella cheese. We'll cover the whole thing with foil and bake it. If you guys are cooking with me, don't forget to preheat your oven to 400 degrees right now so that by the time we're done stuffing our shells, we can stick that bad boy in the oven. Don't forget to ask questions if you have comments. Give me thumbs up. Give me some feedback. Let me know if you've got any questions. Let me know if you're actually making this. And that way I can answer any questions that you guys have. So step 1, cook the shells. Step 2, make the stuffing. Step 3, stuff the stuffing into the shells. And step 4, we're gonna bake. So if we are ready, why don't we move over to the stove? As I said, we've got our shells already cooked right there. So the second part, and this is where I am going to need Jay's help. If he can come on over. I know you guys all love Jay, so I'm going to have him come into help me over here. So what we're going to do is, for the stuffing, basically we're going to saute some onions and some spinach. Some questions I know were,
do I need to wash?
Yes, please wash your hands. Step number 1, wash your hands. So I've already washed my hands, so we're good there. A question that I had earlier when I had mentioned what ingredients we would need. Oh, sorry. He's washing his hands for 20 seconds. They recommend using the ABCs. All right, perfect, awesome. Now we know we're sanitized. So one of the questions that I had was, what if I don't have spinach? What do I do? Well, if you don't have spinach, you can use any other veggies you have on hand. Maybe you have an onion and you just want to saute the onion in some garlic and some salt and mix that in with the ricotta cheese. That's one option. The other option would be, maybe you have some zucchini. You can shred or chop the zucchini really finely, and you can incorporate that into the ricotta cheese. Maybe you don't have frozen spinach. Maybe you have fresh spinach. Be creative. This is a time to be creative. The other question that I had was, what if we're a gluten-free family? If you're a gluten-free family, then you can substitute the shells for gluten-free pasta shells. You can maybe make a bake instead of a stuffed shell. So maybe you buy some gluten-free pasta and you layer, like you put a layer of sauce, you put a layer of the pasta shells or rollatini or whatever it is, and then you add your cream cheese stuffing, and then you put sauce, and you just kind of layer it. So that's another way to do it. The other way to do it also is you could also use veggies instead of pasta. So I make an eggplant. I call it a rollatini, but technically it's a lasagna. So I lay eggplant and then a stuffing. It's a vegan stuffing with some pasta sauce, and I just keep layering it. So you could use eggplant. You could use zucchini. So any of those options. So again, be creative. Adjust this recipe to what works for you, your family, what you might have on hand. I know I have a friend who is trying not to go to the grocery store as often because her husband has severe asthma, and the grocery store said it's like a 4 to 5 day delivery. Well, don't put yourself at risk. Use whatever you have on hand. I've never tried this, but maybe you could bake a potato in the microwave or the oven, smash it up, and then smash that with the ricotta cheese. That actually sounds pretty yummy to me. So just some options. So again, we have our stuffed shell, or we have our shells that we've already cooked. So now we are going to actually saute the onions and the spinach. And so for that, I need Jay to chop up a half an onion for me. One thing I want to point out with my onion, I actually just have half, so I thought I would use this up. But if you notice, the way I chopped the onion initially is I kept the root end on and I peeled the rest off. So this way, when I want to chop this finely, this root end will actually hold the whole onion in place. So it'll just be easier that way. Jay, when he's chopping, you know, it all stays together and it's just easier for him. So I'm going to pass this on to him. He is going to, he's going to start chopping the onion for us. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and you're going to chop that onion finely, and I am going to heat up some olive oil. So let's do that. Maybe about 1 big heaping tablespoon, 1.5 tablespoons or so. All right, so as soon as he has the onion chopped, which he's working on it right there. And in the meantime, yeah, kind of finely. All right, so by the way, these Facebook Lives are so much fun. I feel like for me, it gives me purpose because I get to share my happy place with you guys. I just feel like I get to share what I love to do. Maybe I pass on some tips and tricks to you guys. Maybe I learn a few things from you guys. So I really do. I really am enjoying these. I get to order Jay around. So, you know, it's a win-win situation for just everybody involved. Except Jay, who I guess thinks that I'm ordering him around. But that's okay. He'll have to deal with it. Hi, Ruchi. All right, so my oil is heated. And again, olive oil, we want to make sure that it does not smoke. Once it starts smoking, you're messing with the chemicals and the. There you go.
Throw it in there?
Yes, please throw it in there.
Can they hear us?
They can hear us.
Oh.
So you be careful.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right. So we are going to saute our onions. And if you can grab me our bag of spinach from the refrigerator, please. So basically at this point, what I would do is I would add some crushed red pepper. We love spicy. And in fact, now the kids are also enjoying some spice in their food. So there's the bag of frozen spinach. I would just like to point out also, while I'm ordering Jay around, I have the kids that are sitting all the way in the back there. Do you see them? Just giggling and laughing at us while they listen to me order Jay around. So this is kind of fun. All right. Here, I'll grab the bag of spinach. Oh, yeah, there's a bag of spinach. There's a bag of spinach. There we go, our bag of spinach. So we're going to go ahead and, that crushed pepper looks yummy in there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and dump the bag of spinach into, and we're just going to let that cook a little bit. If you're using frozen spinach, you'll want to let the water evaporate. And there we go. And if you're using fresh spinach, then it's just a little bit easier for it to wilt, so you'll be good there. And then what we will do is we will add some garlic. You can use fresh garlic. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and use some just some garlic powder. And I'm just going to go ahead and drizzle it on top. It's probably about a teaspoon of it. And I'll also add some salt to this. So probably about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt. And let's let that cook. So while that's cooking, hi all, hi everyone that's joined. While that's cooking, I wanted to share with you something I got in the mail today. Did everybody get this? They're the coronavirus guidelines. So if you feel sick, stay home. If your children are sick, stay home. If you're an older person or have serious underlying health conditions, stay home. Practice good hygiene. That was smart of them to mail this to everybody. I kind of like it. So anyway, I just got mine in the mail today. Wondering if you guys got one of these also. This is a thing that Vice President Pence has been kind of waving around, but you never really know what's on it. That's what's on it. So there you go there. All right, back to our spinach. So let's take a look at that. How many of you guys are making this at home? Why don't you give me a thumbs up if you're making this at home also? Welcome to everybody who's joined. So I also want to cheers again to whoever just joined. Taking a deep breath. There you go. Awesome. All right. So this spinach is coming along pretty good. Once we cook up the spinach, what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and we are going to incorporate our ricotta cheese. So any questions, please let me know. Awesome, Wendy. Okay, this is coming along good. So I went to the grocery store today for the first time in about almost 2 weeks. Hi, Sophia, watching from Seattle. We are making spinach ricotta stuffed shells. So that's what we're cooking up today. It's starting to come along. It's smelling really good. The frozen spinach is cooking very nicely. Oh, wow. Yes, please refill that wine if that's what you're drinking. So can you see how that's coming along? There we go. Awesome. All right. So anyway, I went to the grocery store today for the first time in almost 2 weeks, and it was quite an experience. What I ended up doing is I ended up taking some Lysol wipes from my own car. I keep a little can of it, just in case they didn't have any at the grocery store. You never know if they've run out. So I took it, I wiped down the handle of the grocery cart, and then I actually took 3 sheets and I just kind of laid it on top of the handle of the grocery cart, and I held it, and that's what I touched basically the whole time. So it felt okay. It was kind of eerie and weird watching people walk around with face masks and hand gloves, latex gloves. That was a little bit eerie. Hi, Sophia. Thanks for joining. Okay, so it was quite an experience. Many of the aisles, I'm telling you, the produce section was full. Like they had just restocked the zucchini and the eggplant. Everything was beautifully full. But the other, the packaged goods, not so much. So you kind of have to plan that out. So, all right, our spinach has cooked. And let me move you over back this way. So let me show you the spinach. All right. And so what we're going to do here now is we are going to combine this with our ricotta cheese. So the spinach has already been seasoned with garlic powder, with salt, with crushed peppers. So we're going to go ahead and incorporate the ricotta cheese in here. And then basically we're just going to start putting this whole fancy dish together. Hold on 1 minute while I go grab the ricotta cheese. I will be right back.
Smells good in here.
All righty, here we go. So I've got my ricotta cheese. Be on the lookout on my Facebook page, Warrior in the Kitchen. If you want to like it or follow it or both, I will post the recipe on there. So let me just go ahead and open up my ricotta cheese like so. And then let me move this down here so you can see what I'm doing here. All right. So I'm going to take so this is a 30-ounce container. I'm going to take about half of it. So 15 ounces. So you need maybe about 15, 16 ounces or so. All right. And we're just going to go ahead and combine. That looks fantastic. Looks so good. Oh, jeez.
You turned it off?
Nope. Did I swear there? I didn't mean to swear. I thought I accidentally shut this off. So sorry about that. Okay. Oh, so what have you guys been doing while you're, but while you guys are social distancing? Anything fun? We've actually been playing a lot of Monopoly, as you can see from our table right there. We've also been having, since the kids are home, we've been having lunches in the backyard as a nice little break. So what have you guys been doing? What have you guys been up to? All right. So we have our shells ready for the stuffing right there. And we have working out as a family. Ruchi, that is a great idea. Awesome. And we have our stuffing. So what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and take our tray, and the pasta sauce that I normally like to use, it's actually a marinara sauce, is the Victoria's brand that, Ruchi, I like that. Working out a lot. I'm glad. Hopefully you're eating well also while you're working out a lot. Victoria's brand is from Costco. I really love it just because I've said it in the past. It's got very minimal ingredients. It's got whole ingredients, and I can pronounce pretty much I can pronounce all of the ingredients, but the last one, calcium chloride, is the only one that I'm not familiar with, but I'm assuming because it's canned, it's got to be preserved. So for the most part, I mean, it is just tomatoes, onions, olive oil, salt, garlic, basil, and spices. So I love that. But I also have this container. So, obviously with this whole, all the colleges being shut, all the schools being shut, my daughter who lives on campus actually came home and she brought all her leftover food. And so one of the things that she recently made was this pasta sauce. And it just, it smells delicious. She made it in the Instant Pot. It just smells so good. So once I get the recipe from her, and I'll have Naya come here. She doesn't have to tell us the recipe, but just come here and come and wave hi. So I'm actually going to use this sauce in our dish, but I'm not sure that I'm going to have enough, so I'll probably end up using a little bit of the Victoria also. There's Naya. Naya, can you tell us, do you remember what's in this pasta sauce?
It's like tomatoes, onions, carrots, garlic.
And what did you make it in?
The Instant.
And she made it in the Instant Pot. So
It's actually tomato soup, but it turned out tasting like pasta sauce. So
yeah,
we're using
and it's
it
pretty
as pasta
thick,
sauce.
and it's pretty thick too.
Yeah.
So we're gonna use it as pasta sauce. So thanks, Naya. Alrighty, so let's get Jay back in here so he can come on. Let's get you back in here so you can start stuffing some shells for me. That's what we need to do. So basically, you're gonna take, well, first, what we'll want to do is we're just gonna kind of put a layer of pasta sauce, just a thin layer I don't need to spray it. We don't need to spray it, but if we just put a thin layer right here, then it won't stick, it won't burn at the bottom. Then what we'll do is we'll take a shell and we'll take 1 scoop of our filling and we're just going to fill it just like that. Okay? Just 1 tablespoon is usually enough for 1 shell. And then we're just going to start laying it out in our pan. Okay? So while Jay stuffs all the ricotta cheese stuffing into the shells.
I don't know how to do this.
Yes, you got it. Let's watch. Let's see how good of a job he does there. All right. See, this helps me teach because I know what I need to say. Yeah. So basically, if you that's it. If you open it up and kind of hold it with your index finger and your thumb, and you take a heaping spoon and you just sort of like lay it in there, right there, just like that. And you lay it down. There you go.
There you go. It's that easy.
It's that easy. So why don't I stuff some with you also? And so this is a great recipe. Like I said, you can be creative with it. You don't necessarily have to use spinach. You could use some other veggies that you have on hand. You can use only onions if you want. Whatever floats your boat at the moment. So I usually count about 5 shells per person. Most likely, Jay and I will not be eating this. This is something we'll serve for the kids only because we're just trying to avoid the dairy and we're trying to avoid the pasta shells and stuff. Which is why I'm excited to share with you the other dish that I will be making for us, which is the vegan eggplant lasagna. So we're doing good over here. So I usually count about 5 shells, stuffed shells per child. So I have 3, so I'll be making 15, and then probably just a little bit extra because I know they like to have leftovers of this the next day. So let me wash my hands while Jay finishes his stuffing.
Getting good at this.
That's right. You're a rock star. Awesome. So once all the shells are stuffed, it's looking pretty nice here. Check that out. There you go. So once these are stuffed, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add the pasta, the rest of the sauce on top. Yep. So what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. How about one more? That will be enough for dinner tonight. I think that'll be great. So awesome. And while you do finish that last one up, I am going to just pour pasta sauce on top of this.
Ooh, looks good.
Oh, yeah. This looks delicious. Smells really good. This pasta sauce smells so good. I cannot wait until she gets me the recipe for this. So do you see how that looks? Then what we'll do is we will top that with mozzarella cheese. So let's just drizzle some mozzarella cheese on top. So remember, 4 steps to making spinach ricotta stuffed shells. The first one is to cook your shells, drain them, and just drizzle with olive oil and set that aside. The second step is to make your stuffing, which is to cook the spinach, add some seasoning like salt, garlic powder, crushed red pepper, and then you combine that with your ricotta cheese. The third step is to stuff the shells, layer with the sauce, and top with mozzarella cheese. And then the fourth step is to bake this at 400 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and cover aluminum foil on this. We're going to stick it in the oven. We're going to bake it for about 10 to 15 minutes, covered with the aluminum foil. That way It prevents it from getting dry. You don't want this to dry out. You don't want the sauce to dry out. And then for maybe the last 5 minutes, we'll take the aluminum foil off, and then we'll bake it for that 5 minutes just so the top can sort of brown. And so that's how we make spinach ricotta stuffed shells. So while Jay gets aluminum foil on here and throws this thing in the oven, I am going to show you really quickly how to make vegan eggplant lasagna. So hold on 1 second for me. We are going to add this. What do you do with the shells that are broken, by the way? Anyone have an idea? Rohan, you want to show us what we do with these broken shells? Come here. Nothing goes to waste over here. So what are we going to do with these? That's what we do. He always asks me to separate all the broken shells so that he can just have them. He loves them. So, all right. We're going to stick this in the oven. Set the timer for 15 minutes. And that's our stuffed shells. So, the next thing, I would say maybe 2 to 3 years ago or so, I can't even remember the exact time, my brother-in-law and my father-in-law both decided they were going to go vegan, which actually has helped us think of creative ways of making certain dishes. So one of the dishes, in fact, is an eggplant. It's called a rollatini. Technically, you're supposed to make these eggplants into rolls, but I find it easier to make it into a lasagna style. So basically, you take eggplant and you slice it the long way into thin strips. So, and then what you do is you just grill these. I actually use my griddle, but you could do it in a frying pan. And you just drizzle some olive oil, some salt, and some garlic powder, and you cook them on both sides. So they're pretty much cooked. So that's one thing you do. The other thing you do is you either make or buy vegan pesto. I made this vegan pesto this morning. I had a box of basil, and what I did with the basil, and let me show you what I did. You'll like this. I actually froze the basil. I blended up the basil, and then I put it into ice cubes, and I drizzled it with olive oil. And then I also labeled it. 1 cube is 1 tablespoon of basil and olive oil. And so today, when I was making the pesto, I literally took 2 cubes of the basil, and I made vegan pesto out of that. So vegan pesto. And then I also made some vegan cashew cheese, which I think you can also buy at the store. This is also super easy to use if you have raw unsalted cashews. You just soak them for at least an hour, 1 to 2 hours. But you throw lemon juice in here, some nutritional yeast, some garlic powder, and salt, and you just process it in a food processor with some water. And so this is vegan cashew cheese, and this is vegan pesto. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to, again, layer this with a little bit of sauce. So let me show that to you. So there's our layer of sauce, okay? And then we are going to literally lay down our eggplant. You can do this with zucchini as well. I just happen to love eggplant in this dish. So we're just gonna layer it that way. And then what we'll do is we will add some pesto, kind of layer this with pesto. So again, this is gluten-free, this is vegan, keto-friendly. So we're gonna add also, we've got the pesto, and then we're gonna add the cashew cheese. And literally, we're just going to kind of build this from here. Just going to layer it up. So, a nice little alternative, healthy alternative to our traditional lasagna. There we go. And I will layer it with a little bit of sauce again. And we're just going to build up from here. So far, does anybody have any questions? Let me know. Don't be shy. Feel free to comment. And then we'll just layer it again and just keep going. So this is, and I'm glad we had time to show this, but this is our vegan eggplant lasagna. Ta-da! And that's, so we'll, again, same thing, we'll bake this in the oven, 400 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes. We just want to make sure that the sauce is boiling, the eggplant is already pretty much cooked. We just want that sauce to boil and kind of incorporate all the flavors of the pesto and the cashew cheese. So that's that. So I don't want to keep you guys waiting because we still have about 10 minutes left. If you guys have any last minute questions, please ask me. Feel free to comment, share this video. I really do hope to do many more of these in the coming weeks. Maybe try to do a cooking club or just happy hour a few times a week. So if you guys have any ideas or recipes you would like to see, please feel free to message me or comment. Like I said, this is a great escape for me to share my kitchen with you, and I hope that it's a good escape for you to just kind of leave the world, even if it's for 45 minutes, and just to maybe get a tip or two on how to make some creative vegan vegetarian dishes. And what time is dinner? Well, dinner is whenever you can get here. Get over here. So anyway, I'd like to leave you with this. Get creative. Let's connect virtually. And cheers from my kitchen to yours.